And in today's Business Matters, an Indian news agency sues OpenAI. Meta challenges an order from an Indian regulator. Nestle plans to cut costs under its new CEO. The family that owns 7-Eleven looks to take their company private. And Boeing said in a filing yesterday it has sent layoff notices to over 2,500 workers. That's in the state of Washington, Oregon, South Carolina, and Missouri. It's part of the debt-ridden planemaker's plan to trim 17,000 jobs globally, or 10% of its workforce. Those who were let go were mostly engineers, technicians, and non-union workers. The bulk of them in Washington state, where nearly 2,200 workers received notices. The company told affected workers they will stay on Boeing's payroll until January to comply with the federal 60-day notice period rule. News of cuts in November was widely expected. Boeing had said it started issuing notices last week, and another round is expected in December. The notices come as Boeing aims to restart production of its best-selling 737 MAX jet following a weeks-long strike. The stoppage ended earlier this month, having crippled much of the firm's airplane output. Indian news agency ANI is suing OpenAI in a New Delhi court. The outlet accuses the ChatGPT creator of using its content without permission to help train the artificial intelligence chatbot. ANI is the latest news organization to take OpenAI to court following lawsuits by the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune. Authors, visual artists, musicians, and others have accused different tech companies of copyright infringement as well. Today, a judge ordered OpenAI to provide a detailed response to ANI's accusations. The Indian news agency also accuses the company of attributing fake news stories to the publication. OpenAI says it has stopped using ANI's content in future training of AI models. ANI argues that its published works are permanently stored in the memory of ChatGPT. Meta Platforms faces legal challenges in India as well. The tech company objected to an order today by India's competition watchdog. The order placed data sharing restrictions between WhatsApp and its other applications. The Competition Commission of India ordered WhatsApp to stop sharing user data for advertising with other Meta-owned apps for 5 years. The regulator also fined the tech giant $25.4 million over antitrust violations related to the messaging app's 2021 privacy policy. The commission launched an investigation in March that year. The policy allowed data sharing between Meta and its other apps. A Meta spokesperson said the 2021 update did not change the privacy of people's personal messages. The new CEO of Nestle is looking to drive growth as he takes the helm of the multinational food conglomerate. The world's biggest food company said it will boost advertising, trim costs, and make its water and premium drinks a standalone business. Lauren Frixie took the reins in September after disappointment. Investors ousted former CEO Mark Schneider. Under Schneider, Nestle gutted its marketing and advertising budget during the pandemic. The owner of brands including Nescafe and Kit Kat said it aims to achieve cost savings of $2.8 billion by 2027. Nestle added that it will increase investment in advertising and marketing to 9% of total sales by 2025. The last time Nestle spent this amount of its sales on marketing was back in 2019. The founding family behind Japanese retailer 7-i aims to raise more than $50 billion to take it private by the end of this financial year. Japanese public broadcaster NHK reported the news today. The Ito family is in talks with Japan's 3 largest lenders and major U.S. financial institutions to take the 7-Eleven owner private. 7-i is trying to fend off a $47 billion takeover bid from Canada's Alimentation Couche-Tard. The company has been under pressure to convince investors it can enhance value on its own. Going private would allow it to continue under current management. The move would also remove pressure from shareholders to sell off more of its assets. Sweeping government reforms is on the horizon. This as Elon Musk is slated to spearhead a new group aimed at improving efficiency in the federal government. But are average Americans open to this new idea? NTD Sam Wong was out at the National Mall in D.C. to hear from people.
What do you think about the idea of having a government efficiency program with Elon Musk at the helm?
So I don't really think it's a good idea to have somebody who's really a wealthy person who could influence decisions that could help his own back pocket.
The idea is great. As to how it comes out, I'm just hoping for the best.
The efficiency department is not a bad idea. Him as at the helm is a little concerning.
Honestly, my opinion right now, with the last 4 years or so, you have the U.S. in a $1 trillion deficit. I think that'll be cleared up.
Interestingly, on the one hand, I have a lot of respect for Elon Musk and his ability to make a company efficient. Whether that will happen with the government or not seems fairly uncertain.
You know, efficiency isn't necessarily a good thing. I think effectiveness is better.
Great idea. It definitely needs efficiency. Even if he does a small percentage, it'll save us a lot.
Anytime you have a governmental agency, it tends to be inefficient. Love the concept. I just don't know how he's going to do it.
Do you have any expectation?
I have an expectation they're going to try. Probably going to try and get some departments actually completely taken out.
Are you open to the idea of having this department in place?
Yes, I am.
Sure, I'm going to pay attention, see what happens.
So I'm curious to see what it will do.
Well, I mean, I can see what happens, but as long as it doesn't go in the wrong direction, but I'm somewhat suspect.
So with all of these different departments and all of these regulations in place, are you concerned about the current size of our government?
Absolutely. There's so many rules that every person in the United States commits at least 3 felonies a day unknowingly.
There is a lot of fluff in a lot of areas. It could be toned down.
I think sizing it down might help with the cost of everything.
Well, there's always probably room for trimming at all times. We have this here efficiency program. You overdo it, and it looks good for the short term, but then a few years later, it's like we need to hire all these people back.
The United States is a big corporation, so we have a lot of different entities. As long as they get the right attention and the right people in the right place, that's important.